Hey everyone, it's Tom here with manlyandmodern.com, and I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. So if you're watching this video, you're probably on some kind of self-improvement kick, or you're looking for some advice on ways you can improve your life. Now, this is a great first step, so thanks for clicking on this video and giving it a watch. And let me just be the first to say that I definitely don't have everything figured out. Not even close. But since graduating college in 2018, I think I've gotten a few things right. I've managed to start a successful online business. I've made some great friends and relationships along the way. And this was all while living on 6 different continents and kind of just enjoying life. And so in this video, I just wanted to share 7 really key habits that really helped me get my life together in my 20s. And so a lot of these videos cover, the foundational habits like sleeping enough, eating, going to the gym, and things like that. So this video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to talk about some lesser known habits that might not be on your radar that have really been key in helping me get my life together in my 20s. And I think they're critical for success. So hopefully one of the habits helps you out. Let's get to it. All right, so the first habit I wanted to talk about is really just the habit of consistently working on some kind of side project. I wanted to start the video with this habit because for me personally, working on side projects consistently, through my teen years and into my early 20s has been, critical for helping me find success, staying motivated and just kind of enjoying life a little bit more. And, really, I can attribute this one habit to having the largest gains in terms of my career, income, and kind of just, overall happiness, I would say. And so over the last few years, I've pretty much always worked on some sort of side project. When I was in high school, I started a blog about, just lifestyle and cooking and random topics like that. And that side project taught me some digital marketing skills that helped me get a job later on in college. When I was in college, I started a hobby of phone farming and, using money-making apps and sites and things like that. And that led me to starting my blog, thisonlineworld.com, which is now my full-time business. And so the takeaway I've learned throughout all of this is that when you start side projects, you kind of dabble in things, you never really know where they're going to take you or where you might end up. You also tend to develop new skills and meet new people and network along the way. And so what might start as just kind of a fun side project or hobby of yours can actually turn into a full-time income source or teach you really valuable skills that help you later on in life. So I think just as a base rule, always having, one iron in the fire or a couple of irons in the fire that you're kind of experimenting with is a very good idea. All right, now the second habit that I've found very useful, especially over the last few years, is to write out things when you're approaching a very difficult decision. Now, personally, I do this in an email format, so I'll actually just write an email to myself. And this is a really useful way to kind of tackle a problem when it's complex. When you have a really difficult situation in your life, there's a lot of paths you can take and you're trying to figure out what's best. This could be when choosing between jobs, choosing the right school, going through a breakup, figuring out an issue with family or friends. And the reason writing is actually so useful here is it forces you to be specific with your language and to form complete thoughts. And so you might start a journal where you write about these things, or maybe you write an email to yourself, or you just open up a Google Doc and you start writing your way through a different problem. Again, I found this very useful personally in my life when I'm trying to tackle different things. I don't know what route is best to take because you actually end up exploring kind of all the thought processes you might have and all the paths you can take and picking what's best for you. It's also really cool because you can then look back later in life or, even in a few weeks and look at what you've written and then have some more clarity or maybe edit what you've written and maybe even share it with someone for more advice if you feel comfortable. All right, and the third habit is a pretty simple one, but I'm actually surprised not a lot of people talk about it, but it's just not to consistently listen to sad music. I know sad music can be great. We love, those sad music videos that get you in the feels or, sad playlists. Those can be fun sometimes, but I think it's actually not good to just listen to sad stuff, especially if you're going through something difficult. Now, studies actually have mixed feelings on this. Some studies say that sad music actually makes people feel worse. Some say that no, sad music can actually make you feel better. In my experience, if I'm kind of struggling with something, sad music definitely doesn't help. So I try to limit how much of that music I listen to. Again, this is just one habit I found quite useful. If you love your Billie Eilish or whatever sad music you're listening to, go for it, but just keep that in mind. All right, and the fourth habit that really helped me get my life together in my 20s is a very simple and effective one, but it works. And that is to just walk every single day. So I used to work at a digital marketing agency and it was inside of a mall. And, during the winters on my lunch break, I would just kind of cut laps of the mall and just walk around for my 30-minute lunch break and get some steps. In the summertime, I like walking before work or during a break at work, maybe after, before dinner or after dinner. I mean, the science on this is, pretty undeniable. Walking every day is just very good for your health. In fact, a recent study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine in February 2023 found that 1 in 10 premature deaths could be prevented if everyone engaged in moderately intense physical activity like brisk walking for 11 minutes daily. And if you think about most jobs or, most careers, you probably can find a little bit of time, even if it's on your lunch break or when you have a slight break in the day, to walk for 10, 20, 30 minutes, something like that. Don't have to go crazy, but it's really helped me with my mood. And I think it's also just kind of a good practice to get into just to stay a bit healthy. All right. And the fifth habit that I found very, very useful, especially over the last few years, is to try to call a family member at least once a week. And, life gets complicated very, very quickly between, job stresses, friends, relationships, things like that. And I think for a lot of people, myself included, relationships with your family or really, immediate family can kind of fall by the wayside. And it's a bit unfortunate. I've always kind of assumed that I'll always have great relationships with my family because they're immediate family and we'll always be fine. But like any relationship, you have to nurture it if you want it to, to grow and to stay healthy. So personally, I try to call my parents at least once or twice a week. I'm trying to do the same thing with my sister. And I just think it's a very healthy habit for people to do, especially as they enter their 20s and maybe move away from home or, are trying some new stages of their life. And it's kind of nice to have something to ground you to what you know. Now, admittedly, this can be very tricky if you're not on great terms with your family, and that can be kind of unfortunate, but you could also do this with one close friend. Humans are social creatures, so maintaining relationships and really strong bonds with a group of people is a very good way to stay healthy and happy. Okay, and the sixth habit that has really helped me in my 20s with, careers and relationships and kind of just tackling life in general is to always have a to-do list. This is a really simple but effective habit. They've studied to-do lists, they've studied different organizational methods, and the simple act of writing things down and having that to-do list, actually increases the odds you're going to do them in, versus not having any kind of list whatsoever. So for me personally, I have a daily to-do list. I keep one on my laptop and I keep a paper one sometimes right by my workstation at home so I can cross things off when I'm actually finished them. I also like to have kind of like a weekly and monthly set of tasks I want to do or things I want to focus on, and then some kind of bigger year-end goals I'm working towards. But the daily to-do list, in my opinion, is a must-have, so I definitely recommend trying out this habit. All right, and the seventh and final habit that really helped me get my life together in my 20s I want to talk about is the idea of always getting a good night of sleep before making a very difficult decision or important decision. Now, this habit is kind of similar to that idea of writing things out when you face something really challenging, but I cannot stress enough how many times I've wanted to make a spur of the moment decision about something difficult, and I've kind of been told or, kind of remembered, hey, just take a step back, think about it, sleep on it, as the saying goes, and, then made the decision the next day. On the spot decisions might feel great in the moment, but usually you end up regretting them later on. So when in doubt, sleep on it, take time to make important decisions, and don't rush through them because that's usually how people end up with regret. Anyways, guys, that does it for 7 different habits that have really helped me kind of get my life together in my 20s. Again, I know a lot of these videos talk about really foundational things like sleeping enough, eating the right foods, working out, things like that. And I truly think the foundational habits cover most of what's important. But that's really why I wanted to talk about a few lesser mentioned habits, because I think that kind of little extra bit of, structure to someone's life or, some routines they have can really make a big difference. These are just the 7 habits that have really, really worked for me. And again, I definitely don't have everything figured out, but hopefully at least one of the habits is something new for you and something that helps you out. If there's an idea you really agree with or disagree with, definitely let me know down in the comments below. And again, thank you guys for tuning in and for watching. I hope you all have a fantastic week. This has been Tom with manlyandmodern.com. I'll catch you guys in the next one.